Hello, hello, hello. If you're watching this video, that means you're guessing whether you should start a business or not. And the goal of this video is to decide, hey, should I start a business? Is the business the right thing for me to do? Or should I just continue to do what I'm doing now? Now, I'm not somebody who's going to have a one answer that fits all. Everyone's situation, everyone's life is going to be a little bit different. My goal for you is to make sure that you have all the information necessary so you can make the best decisions possible that fit your needs. I have no agenda. I have no dog in this fight, so it's all about you. Me personally, I do love the whole idea of business. However, I am of the believer business is not for everyone. I am a brother of total of 3, so I'm the oldest of 3, 2 younger brothers, and the 2 younger brothers that I have currently do not have businesses, and they're in the phase of their life where it doesn't make sense for them to have a business based on the goals that they want to accomplish. Maybe sometime in the future something will change, but just because they don't have a business doesn't make them any less, or doesn't make them any less successful at all, right? And that's the main thing I want you guys to understand. There's more than one way to become successful. If you're after money, business is not the only way to do it. If you're not aware already, there's actually over 30 million businesses in America currently, right? And when you're thinking about businesses, only 4% of those businesses actually gross over $1 million a year. Now, if you don't know what gross means, that means that they actually collect or sell over $1 million a year. 4%, that's it. So it's a very small percentage. On average, a normal business will either break even or lose money. Now, what does that mean? That means they worked all year, and the money that they brought in to the business as sales or as services is the same amount of money that they spent in their expenses. All right, so that's another crazy thing. The average employee, the average person in America will actually make more money than a business owner on average. The game of business is not easy. My first business I went into was restaurants, and that was the first business that I actually was the owner in and partnered and had partners, the whole works. So what actually wound up happening in that first business was I started off with one restaurant, and I was doing pretty well. Everything was great. I got so excited. I was a young entrepreneur, and I decided to open up another one. And long story short, I wound up owning 3 different restaurants, and I was helping manage a total of 15 different restaurants. And boy, oh boy, did I learn. Now, the things that most people are not going to tell you on YouTube or anyplace else, especially in the restaurant business, there were many, many weeks, many months where my employees made more money than me. Because as a business owner itself, you get paid last. You eat last, which means you make money when the business makes money, when everything is paid for, and whatever's left over. That is how a responsible business owner should act, right? So in many, many weeks, my cooks, my managers were all making more money than me. I remember those times where I had $1,000 left in my bank account, and I have to decide, hey, should I pay my employees or should I pay the food bill so we can have food next week? And I figured out how to make it happen, and I made it grow. Now, going through a business like that, there's people who live that way their entire lives. I understood, hey, this is a lesson, this is a stepping curve. When I was in it, I didn't really like it, but as I'm looking back for it now, I'm so grateful for those lessons. To kind of give you an example of overall, a lot of people who know me might say, yo, this guy, he's got what it takes. But what they don't see is everything that happens in the background. If you choose to get into business, which is an amazing thing, it's the best learning experience that you can have in your lifestyle, right? But the cool thing is, I worked 5 years straight, 7 days a week, while being a full-time student, while being a full-time college athlete, and managing all those restaurants. Just my car miles alone, I was doing 600 miles a week, going from restaurant to restaurant, learning and trying to grow and save the business. Long story short, 5 years later, all the restaurants shut down. Every single one of them. So I had to work 5 whole years, hard work, 7 days a week, 20-hour days sometimes, to at the end of 5 years have $20,000 saved to my bank account, right? That's $4,000 per year after 5 years. If I was all about the money, all I would do is find a job, because I knew that was going to be the way to save up as much money as possible. Because like I said, most employees, most people who work on a team will actually make more money than an average business owner, especially one that's just starting off. There's so many different things to learn, but the one thing I will tell you is I am super grateful that I went through all those trials and tribulations and I did not give up, because if you don't give up, then you will continue to learn, continue to get better, and your skill set will continue to improve, which means your bank account will also continue to do so as well. So now we're about 6 or 7 years into our new business, which is Driving Academy, and currently have a few different businesses. So Driving Academy as a whole has a few different locations that we have to manage. Also, there's a Driving Academy franchising company that we just opened up, and we actually opened up this studio here, which is going to be a podcast studio, plus it's called Success Workspace. So it's kind of like a co-working space. So after doing all this stuff, I'm now expanding into many different businesses, many different ways of doing it. And if you stay along with us on our YouTube channel, we'll kind of show you exactly behind the scenes as I continue to build these businesses, and everything that I learn will continue to go to you. So back to the original question, should you open up a business? The answer is going to be, what is your goals? If your goals are just to live a very easy life and you want to work 40-hour weeks, maybe 50, 30-hour weeks, and you will live that life balance a little bit more, and you're perfectly okay with that, in that case, I would say do not own a business. For people who want to own a business in the beginning for lifestyle itself, probably not the best way to do it, especially if you want to grow something, because in the beginning, it's going to be like a baby, right? No one ever says, I want to have a baby so I can have more time. It's impossible. Same thing with a business. The people might tell you, hey, I'll do a business over a laptop, lifestyle businesses, that kind of things. It hasn't worked for me personally. For me, I've always liked actual physical businesses, things that actually interact with people. That's just the way I am. I'm not a guy who can just stay behind the screen all day and kind of work. But everybody has their own kind of niche. So if you're in that 25 to 30-year-old range, maybe you're in your early 20s and you want to be successful, the best advice I can tell you is start now, but start a lot of different things. If you do want to own a business, and that is something that I can't push you away from, and I'm not looking to do so at all, then my advice would be, hey, find an industry that you want to work in, work for somebody in that industry. Now, don't look for the actual company, look for the owner of that industry. Get close to that guy. We've had people who come here, seen me grow, will start with me from the beginning, and now they're making more money than their own parents. It's crazy because they've seen me grow, they've learned with me, and they're able to kind of get alongside them. So find somebody who's in that industry, who really knows what they're doing, who's investing in themselves, who's dedicated for growth, because the best teacher is going to be growing your business. You learn a lot from failures, but you learn even more from successes, because success builds on success, builds on success. So if you do want to decide whether you should own a business or not, these are the questions that you should ask yourself. 1, what kind of lifestyle do you want to live? What are you willing to sacrifice today to get something else in the future, knowing that you don't know when that future is going to be? Everyone's seen this meme right over here where you have 2 guys. They're both digging for gold. And all of a sudden, this guy quits right before he strikes gold. The other guy doesn't quit. He keeps going, and he's the one that actually hits for gold. That's the same type of thing with business. You're going to keep learning, keep failing, keep learning. And at the end of the day, if you don't give up on yourself, you're able to continue forward. Now, if that's not somebody if that's not something that interests you, of never giving up, keep hitting the grindstone, making sure things are going, then maybe owning a business is probably not the best way for you. Plus, if you're in it for the money, owning a business, especially in the beginning, is usually not the best way to get going. It's much easier to make money either in a sales position or in a company that's going to continue to grow and you be part of that growth. Simply because if you just look at it logically, if you attach yourself to a company who's going to be growing, they already have the infrastructure in place. Because things, when you open up a business, for instance, you have to set up a logo. Something so simple can take people so long to do, right? You're going to have to set up your bank account. You're going to have to set up your computer where you're going to be working at it, right? You're going to have to set up so many BS things that if you just plug your skill set into a current company, or you plug yourself in just your work ethic, and you learn the skill set as you continue to grow, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff. You can just focus on the skill set that you need. How many actual times will a logo make you more money versus not enough money? So if you take Coca-Cola right here, and it's a red logo, and all of a sudden they decide to turn green, are they going to sell less Cokes because it was green versus red? But how much time was spent on creating that logo? Now, they can afford to spend a whole lot of time creating that logo because they have the infrastructure. You might spend 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month pitching around a logo, and at the end of the day, no one actually sees the logo, so no one's gonna do anything with that logo, right? So it's all about knowing the skill set to do. And if you keep following on this channel, we're gonna break down every business skill set that I've learned, and we'll continue to help you grow at the same time. So I hope that you like this channel. We're all here to help you out, and I'll be sharing my stories just like I did today and getting you inspired to move forward towards your goals. Now, if your goal is to become a huge behemoth business person, then get started today in any type of business that you want. So then you can start learning, but it's always better to learn on somebody else's dime. So work for somebody first, and then just try to do it better than them. See where they're messing up and do it even better. So I hope to see you soon on the next video. Comment below, let us know what you want to hear us about. Thanks.